This is JoyNews Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. The headlines: Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman retained as running mate to flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, in the 2024 election. Party indicate a vision for a better Ghana and integrity as the quality that made her the ideal candidate. Also, CSOs and anti-graft campaigners join calls for an immediate parliamentary probe into the stalled National Cathedral Project, as the structure remains at the foundation level after the government allegedly spent over $58 million. And the death of Deputy Finance Minister and MP for Ejoso, John Kuma, brings parliamentary proceedings to an end. We have details from Parliament on the day MPs were allegedly, already admonishing each other to take care of their health and requesting better conditions of service for retired MPs.
Nobody, like Honorable Muntaka said, nobody cares about you after here. They need you only when they have an emergency. Once they have gotten that, you can go to hell. We have only each other to depend on. Let us not forget our responsibility.
Thank you so much for choosing us. Now, CSO and anti-graft campaigners are calling for an immediate and extensive parliamentary probe into the stalled National Cathedral Project. President Akufo-Addo broke ground for the construction of the cathedral in 2017 at an estimated cost of over $450 million. The former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta promised the edifice would be commissioned on Ghana's 67th independence celebration. However, after 7 years and $58 million spent, the building remains at the foundation level. A former executive director of Ghana Integrity Initiative, Vitus Azim, is calling on Parliament to initiate investigations into the project, insisting there are too many questions that remain unanswered.
The state of the National Cathedral raises a lot of questions, needing answers. So I think that the Parliament has to convene them, summon them to the House to ask the necessary questions. And up to now, I think the audit has not been done or not finished. So when they finish the audit, then maybe based on that, more questions can be asked and answers demanded. It is a potential source of corruption. But without the investigation, we cannot conclude that it is corruption. If you ask the state of the project, then that will help you to determine whether the money spent is reasonable or not. There are too many questions that have remained unanswered.
Thankfully, Vitus Azim joins us via Zoom for more discussion on this subject. Vitus, at this point, do we continue or close the pits and repurpose the place? Hello, kindly unmute your device so we can hear what you're saying. Hello, Vitus. Hello, Vitus Azim, if you can unmute your device so we can...
Yeah, I've unmuted.
Yes.
Yes. I hear you now.
Yes, I can hear you. I was asking, at this point, do we continue with the project, or we have to close the pit entirely and repurpose the place use it for another purpose?
So much destruction has gone into this construction, and so much money has been spent on it already. So I think that we should be able to continue with it after we have investigated and found out what actually took place. We cannot continue the way it has gone. We need to investigate and arrive at some answers to some questions before we continue the project. But we cannot continue to invest money in projects and abandon them halfway.
All right, some believe that the president should be held accountable for this failed project. The question is, can he be cited for causing financial loss to the state, looking at the situation right now?
Well, as I said, at this stage, we cannot already talk about citing him for corruption or causing financial loss to the state until we have conducted an investigation.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Azim, for speaking to us here on this very subject. I've also been joined by Vice President of Imani Ghana, Salon Branch here on Zoom. Salon, the question still remains. What should we do now regarding this particular pit? What should be done?
Well, it is a very complex question as to what exactly needs to be done. Because in one vein, if we completely decide to cut our losses and abandon the project, we are setting the precedent for other governments who take over from other governments to abandon projects, which has been the bane of the Fourth Republic as we know it for now. And we have seen so many instances where very viable projects are left untouched just because or by virtue of the fact that other governments do not see the interest in it. And this is one way to go. On the other hand, I mean, the question that had always been asked is a national cathedral a real national priority? And by so doing, does it mean or does it justify the huge amount of funds that have gone in so far? And that still needs to go in before the cathedral is completed. Looking at the many pressing issues we have as a nation and the state in which we are in terms of the state of our economy. And of course, then it makes it a very difficult argument because the cost-benefit analysis shows that we are not going to reap the amount that has been invested in it. Should we even continue it, maybe even for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years? So it is a very complex question that wouldn't require a very simple answer, but something that would require consensus of the nation as a whole.
All right, some are calling for a parliamentary probe into this particular project. From where you sit, is parliamentary probe alone enough, or you think that there should be some other probes?
The scope goes beyond the parliamentary probe. I believe that we are at a point where we need to look at this dispassionately as a nation. First of all, the conditions precedent to the decision to build a national cathedral, we were all told that this national cathedral was something that was supposed to be a personal promise by someone when he won power to do. And did it mean that he had to corral state resources to do that with the explanation that people are going to pay into it and therefore it should be done? I believe that the intent behind it, however noble as it sounded, is fraught with a lot of fraud and fraudulent machinations, if you should put it that way. First of all, because we were told in front of Parliament, I mean, the finance minister even declared that it wasn't a government's money that was going to be used to do it. Then, by the time the excavation work started, we realized that the finance minister had already signed off money from the coffers of the state for this. So what this tells me is one thing, that both the president and the minister of finance should be complicit, and they should justify why they should not be, they should not have criminal proceedings against them for going ahead and doing this, especially when it was a very contentious decision to make, as well as the fact that they took it upon themselves to even destroy government property wantonly to be able to allow this to take place. I think for those reasons alone, there is enough culpability to establish something beyond just a parliamentary probe and something that should go more into a criminal investigation to see if any laws were breached or any conditions that regarded the prudent use of state funds or the wanton use of state funds without any recourse to procedure was done. And I believe that this should be apolitical, and this shouldn't be something of a witch hunt, but something to really throw the light on what a president can or cannot do, especially since especially the president and the finance minister can or cannot do. Because if we go that direction, then another president will come and say he wants a state shrine, and then he's ready to spend $1 billion on it, and nobody would have anything to say. So I believe that it's not about making scapegoats, but actually doing the prudent thing to ensure that we have a certain sense of propriety when we come to dealing with state funds.
Thank you so much, Salon Branche. We'll leave it here. Thank you. Now, moving on, opposition National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has retained Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman as its running mate to partner John Dramani Mahama in the 2024 elections. This will be the second consecutive time the former education minister will be partnering John Mahama in a major election after the unsuccessful partnership in 2020. The following report has more.
The rumors of Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman being retained as John Mahama's running mate started flying around weeks ago. Although the party was tight-lipped about her being selected for the second time to partner John Mahama, activities on the day of the official announcement all pointed to her. The party formally informed the public about its decision to select Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman after a closed-door meeting at its headquarters in Accra.
The Council of Elders meeting went very well, followed by the NEC meeting, at which, at the end of the conversation, the flag bearer's choice was made known to the national executives of the party. And he communicated to us that he was very much satisfied with the running mate that he went to battle with in the year 2020. Therefore, the nomination, the name for the running mate, as you know already, is Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. She will be the running mate for the NDC come December 7, 2024. Now, what we want to let you know is that Prof. Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman is a distinguished academic and leader, renowned for her dedication in education and in public service. She has served as Minister for Education and also was the first female Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. She has distinguished herself as a trailblazer for women in leadership across the country. Her nomination, therefore, underscores our party's unwavering commitment to inclusivity and empowerment of women in leadership.
Former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Accra, former campaign manager of the NDC, Professor Joshua Alabi, expressed confidence in the party's choice and believed she will help deliver victory for the National Democratic Congress in December.
It's the best choice for this election. There was a marking scheme, it was very tight, and she emerged the best. And for us, we've got what we wanted, and what is left for us to do now is to focus on our campaign and move straight to work. The market scheme, like the General Secretary said, integrity, ability to handle issues in the absence of the President, experience in life, a retired university professor, of course, she managed the whole university, and the university is just like a mini country, and she did that very, very well. And with all this, we believe that she's the best person to handle that.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, in a press statement, thanked the flag bearer, the NDC's Council of Elders, the National Executive Committee, and the rank and file of the party.
Now, Minority Women Caucus, however, laud appointment of Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman as running mate to John Mahama for the 2024 election. The female MPs believe Nana Jane will partner John Mahama to victory. Comfort Doyo Kujo is Deputy Minority Whip.
Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman's reappointment as the vice presidential candidate reflects the confidence that the NDC leadership and the party have reposed in her. Her ability to effectively steer the nation towards progress and prosperity is not in doubt. Her vast experience in academia, coupled with her tenure as Minister of Education, speak volumes about her capacity to address pressing challenges facing our education system and to drive sustainable development across all sectors of our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, as female legislators, we recognize the historic significance of having a woman at the forefront of Ghana's political landscape. Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang's nomination not only paved the way for the greater gender inclusivity in governance, but also serves as an inspiration for all young girls across the country to aspire to leadership role and pursue their dreams without limitation. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we want to thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for giving the female MPs and the women in Ghana the best gift ahead of tomorrow's International Women's Day. Yeah. By nominating Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang as the running mate for the great NDC. Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we say thank you for inspiring inclusion and walking the talk by investing in women to accelerate progress. Yeah. We urge all NDC members, supporters, and the Ghanaian electorate at large to rally behind His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang, as the party embark on this important journey to secure victory for Ghana in 2024 election.
Now, the death of former Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kumah brought sitting in Parliament today to an abrupt end. The late Ejisu MP had been unwell for a while. While the death is yet to be officially announced at the time to MPs, the news had already filtered in, leaving MPs in a state of mourning. Even before this news will reach Parliament, at the time MPs were already discussing their own health and admonishing each other to take care of themselves. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante reports.
It had already been a somber mood in Parliament as MPs paid tributes to two former members of Parliament who had passed on. These deaths had reignited conversations about the state of MPs' conditions of service.
Because beyond this house, believe me, nobody thinks about you. If you think anybody will be thinking about you, forget it. Look, I don't know, those in the chamber today, you are lucky you've not seen any by-election. That result, oh no, we had Kumo. You see your colleague coughing is there. And people are already wearing t-shirts and dancing around and jumping to replace him. Nobody is thinking about his family. Nobody is thinking about children. Nobody is thinking about how the family are, the pain they are going through. They are just happily to replace him. So each of us who is sitting here, if you think you are this important, I'm reminding you, you are not important at all to anybody, including your own constituents. Let us build a family here. If you are sick and you have served this chamber for even 4 years, why can't the state take care of you? Somebody who has served 20 years, the state couldn't take care of him. He has to lament to go back home and die. Today is Lokomo, Honorable Lokomo. Who knows? Tomorrow it could be me. Who knows? It could be you. But we are not talking about the things that will protect each and every one of us beyond this chamber.
First Deputy Speaker Joseph Osei-Wusu had also implored MPs to take care of themselves.
Nobody, like Honorable Muntaka said, nobody cares about you after here. They need you only when they have an emergency. They need you only when they want admission to an institution. They need you only when they want financial support. Once they have gotten that, you can go to hell. If you're broke, they will laugh at you that you're broke. If you're sick and you can't afford medical care, they will laugh at you. So we have only each other to depend on. Let us not forget our responsibility.
Former Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, on his part, told the story of the struggles of a former Member of Parliament who did not even have enough to undergo a surgery.
Speaker, one day, Speaker Mike Okwe then, as chairman of the board, had a request from a former Member of Parliament, which request was that the former Member of Parliament, and I'm just highlighting what the Honorable Muntaka have said, when we sit here, we allow the public to bastardize us for ex gratia. Beyond ex gratia, what is the quality of life of a former MP? and what are we doing to improve our lot? And Mr. Speaker, at the time, Professor Michael Quay, as chair of the board, needed to help a former MP with 12,000 Ghana cedis. And this MP was requesting to do a surgery, prostate surgery. I want to keep the name because this is public. And Professor Quay turned to me and said, Haruna, that's a member of your caucus, a member. He needs urgent medical attention of 12,000 Ghana cedis. So Professor Quay whispered that minority leader find half and I also provide half. Mr. Speaker, before 1 week, this former MP passed on because he couldn't afford the cost of the surgery.
As MPs digested this, the news began filtering in that the Jesu MP and Deputy Finance Minister John Kuma had died. The shocked Speaker, Alban Bagbin, who had just been unofficially informed of this tragic news, suspended sitting immediately.
Honourable members, sitting is accordingly suspended.
MPs began discussing among themselves the tragic news that had just come in as they formed caucuses on the floor of the House. The Speaker then returned and adjourned the House.
For good reason, the House will have to adjourn.
Honorable John Kuma was one of the members of Parliament whose relationships cut across the aisle. He had friends in the opposition, just as he had so many friends within the governing side in Parliament. In fact, so many times that he was in Parliament, you will see members of the minority side go to his chair, have a conversation with him. He was not confrontational. He never got himself engaged, except in political banter on the floor. You will recall that ill-levy conversation. Those are the few times that you see John Kuma involved in a banter. And today, that information about his unfortunate passing to eternity was filtering to in Parliament, forcing the House to adjourn abruptly to tomorrow. We expect that in the coming days, the family will have officially informed the Speaker of Parliament about this tragic passing so that the Speaker of Parliament can in turn officially inform MPs of that. But this is the second time that a Member of Parliament is passing within the life of this 8th Parliament. The first being the late Member of Parliament for Kumewu, who has since been replaced. Reporting for JoyNews, Wiku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Sad one indeed. However, Nana Boakye Yadom has been in his constituency in Ejisu since news of his death broke. Here some sight and sounds from his home.
It's old man, when I heard of the death. Evan. Hello.
Private residents to mourn with the family, including the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah, who has also been here to speak to the family. He engaged with the family not long ago, and so would want to hear a word from the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah. Minister, you spoke to the family earlier. Upon hearing this news, how did you receive it?
Thank you very much. In fact, it's a very uncomfortable news. It came like a tenderous blow to my heart. It's unbelievable. But when I came to the house, I've realized it's the reality. This is an intelligent personality who, by all standards, one could predict that he had a very bright future, both in the party and this country. He's a gem, and we've lost a great personality. He's loving, he loves everybody, he's respectful, and he's humble. Such an affable person could not be lost just like that, but that is nature. Sometimes you cannot understand how nature works. Somebody who came down just about 3-4 days ago, just about 3 days ago, yes, to come and join his party people and his constituents to celebrate the 67th independent anniversary with them. I don't think if he knew that such a thing would happen, he would have come to the constituency. At the end, he could not even join them because his health deteriorated and had to delegate all his responsibilities to the constituency chairman. All that I will say is that we pray to the Almighty God to find a perfect resting place in his bosom. And we, the living, we have to take some lessons from this. We should try and forgive and forget. Let's forgive each other, because nobody knows what will happen to us tomorrow. Today we are talking. Maybe tomorrow our mouth will be shut forever. Let's do respect each other, love each other, and forgive each other. For our life on earth is temporary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah, who has been eulogizing the late Member of Parliament for the Ejuso constituency, who doubles as Deputy Finance Minister. But then I would still have to engage with some residents here who heard the news, the shock to which they received the news. I must say that the majority of them are inside the private residence, mourning with the family of the late Member of Parliament for the Ejuso constituency. Upon hearing the news, how did you receive it? You've been a resident, a constituent in the Ejuso constituency. How did you receive the news?
I didn't believe it, because I thought he would join us at the independence ceremony. Little did I know that he has passed out today. So I was shocked. Upon hearing the news.
How was your relationship as a constituency, as a constituent, the constituent's relationship with a Member of Parliament?
I'm a former assembly member for the United Electoral Area and an appointee. He confirmed my appointment, and I also work for him at the Portrait Project at the my electoral area. So I was close to him. So for MP John Kuma, I was a close person to him. It was surprising that when he passed on, I've received a number of calls calling to confirm from me because of my relation. If you know my number and check my stats, I was every day posting for vice president position. So for this news, it's a big shock to me. That's what I can say for now.
All right, thank you so much. And that is a resident or a constituent of the Ejuso constituency who is expressing shock upon receiving the news, upon hearing the news, the demise of the Member of Parliament for the Ejuso constituency, John.
Well, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba has a report on his life and how he rose to become a Deputy Finance Minister.
Innovation Program NEP. He successfully positioned the NEP as the enabler of the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Ghana. Under his leadership, the program trained 7,000 startups in 2018 under the Presidential Business Support Program and supported 1,350 beneficiaries with funds. Proud to working for government, John Kuma was the founding member and managing partner of Edua Chambers, a law firm. He also worked as the founder of Majak Associates Limited, a building and construction company. In November 2020, Dr. John Kuma received a doctorate in business innovation from the Swiss Business School in Switzerland. Before then, he had acquired a master's in applied business research at the same business school in 2019. In 2009, he had an executive master's degree in business administration from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA. It all began at the University of Ghana, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Economic Philosophy, a Bachelor of Arts degree Law LLB in 2011, and a Professional Law Certificate from the Ghana School of Law in 2013. He was admitted to the Ghana Bar in 2013. As an entrepreneur by birth, a lawyer by profession, a politician by choice, a preacher by divine calling, he sees none of these as an accident but a call to serve humanity. He's a family man with 6 children and married to Apostle Mrs. Lillian Kuma.
Sincere condolences to the bereaved family. You're still watching JoyNews Prime with me, Carlos Calone. We have more after this break. Stay. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, there will be no introduction of a new CI to guide the upcoming general election. This was the consensus reached by the Electoral Commission and political parties earlier today at the Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting. The retention of the existing CI 127 for the conduct of this year's election will mean that earlier proposals for the use of Ghana card, a guarantor system, and no indelible ink have been suspended. The NDC, which has returned after several negotiations with IPAC, said their demand for changes in the electoral process through their boycott have yielded some result. Listen to Dr. Omani Boaman.
Declarative statements about issues that we've been haggling over for some time. Some of them had been heard, but officially she placed before all the political parties present that in 2024 elections, indelible ink will be used. One. She further stated that ahead of the election, the registration that we are going to have, the guarantor system will stay, because that has been a concern that we had been raising. And we had always used evidence, their own evidence, that the 2023 limited registration, over 60% of the registrants registered through the guarantor system and not by using either a passport or the Ghana card. Therefore, if within a short period of less than 1 year, the EC was going to jettison the guarantor system through a new CI, it would have meant that the EC was going to disenfranchise a lot of Ghanaians. The EC chair was very clear, without ambiguity, that the guarantor system will remain in the limited registration that we are going to have. You also recall that during the 2023 limited registration, we had a situation where the registration took place only in district offices. If you came to this place where we are, the very grounds that we are, the place was congested, extremely congested. They have agreed that they will expand the registration beyond the district offices, but they will do that in electoral areas that have difficult to reach zones. So we said there is ambiguity in difficult to reach. So we want to see what they are accepting to be difficult to reach, so that if we have to make inputs, and we believe we would have to make inputs into them, places like Afram Plains and North Tongue and the rest, there are hard to reach areas there. We will help them so that we all co-create those hard to reach areas in the electoral areas.
The New Patriotic Party said it has no issues with the decision at IPAC. Director of Elections and Research, Evans Nimaku, said they are ready for the election.
The existing CI is what is going to be used.
That means that indelible ink will be used. The date for the elections remains 7 December. There's going to be registration exercise for 21 days. In May, there will be guarantor system. What the MPP will not support is for stakeholders to guarantee for minors and non-citizens to be on the electoral roll. It is the reason why the New Patriotic Party was in full support of a new CI that will ensure that it is the Ghana card that will be used. That notwithstanding, we'll go along with what exists and make sure that the right things are done. I think as parties, we've had successful deliberation at this meeting, and we'll see to its fruitful implementation. Yes.
Would you say generally you are satisfied with the engagement with the EC?
Yes, we said that with respect to the registration that is to come in May, the EC said it will be at the district offices for 21 days. The EC has also agreed that they will make available some mobile registration teams so that very difficult areas will be assessed for our brothers and sisters who will have to register to be on the ballot.
Meanwhile, the People's National Convention revealed that the EC has apologized to the parties for publishing the election calendar before consulting them. Janet Nabila is General Secretary of the party.
It's true that the meeting was very cordial, except that we are going back to the traditional system without trying to introduce any modernity into our electoral process. For instance, when they were talking about the indelible ink, the PNC said we have facial recognition, we have fingerprint recognition. What do we need indelible ink for? It's because of our mistrust towards each other. That is why anytime they try to introduce something new into our system, we reject it. The second thing has to do with the petition that was received by the SDA and other things. That petition has been ignored. When you look at the timetable of the Electoral Commission, it has been ignored because they said majority of IPAC members rejected it. For us, when they talk about democracy, even the smallest voices among us matters. So if persons like this in SDA are coming out to complain about a particular date and we are not looking at it, I don't think our our democracy is can be praised when we are doing things of this nature. But today's meeting was very cordial. The timetable that was brought out is the timetable. Electoral Commission is saying that they are opening more registration centers, 4,000 registration centers for us, in addition to the 38,000, making 42,000. And everything was accepted at IPAC. I think everything went on well. And Ghanaians, the only reason why some political parties were complaining were that Electoral Commission did not discuss the timetable with us before bringing it to the media. But at IPAC meeting, they were forcing Electoral Commission, publish it. What is the meaning of publishing? Is it not to the media? So they publish it, and then they were also having, today Electoral Commission apologized, and then they even promised next time to discuss matters with us before going forward. But
now, in our Ghana Month series, we put a spotlight on the Kintampo waterfalls in the Bono East region, where 7 years ago, 20 revelers lost their lives. Management of the facility says the disaster, though painful, has increased the fortunes of the facility. My colleague Anna Sabit went back to the waterfalls, where clean water still flows all year round.
Michael Afake Delali is the site manager here. He takes us through when the Kintampo waterfall was first discovered as well as its source.
Kintampo waterfalls is one of the major tourist attractions in Ghana. It was discovered in the 18th century by Nana Trema, and through hunting he found out that this is the wonderful thing that God has given to Kintampo. So over the years, from the 18th century till now, it has been a major force of attraction that many people come from far and near, from the north, from the south, just to witness the waterfall. The waterfall is in 3 stages. There is stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3.
7 years down the lane, how that particular incident has impacted
this particular tourist site? Has it been positive or has it been negative? I think post the disaster, it really helped the place. That is what brought some of the major places to come and look at the site. And I think the rehabilitation and the redevelopment, I think that brought the new stairs and a couple of structures and also made the administration a very functional administration.
In terms of visitations, Michael tells me there's been a massive improvement with the facility recording up to 26,000 visitations in the year 2023 compared to a figure of 22,000 in the year 2022.
Every year we do the annual statistics collation. So last year we were over 26,000 people visited the site. I think we did 22,000 the previous year, and last year we did 26,000.
With the 2017 disaster still fresh in the minds of many revelers, what are some of the major security measures taken by management to curb similar future disasters?
And also with the security agencies, normally when it's an occasion, they don't forget to come. I think if you were here for some of the festive season, you find out that when the fire service come, they conduct the canopy walkway. When the fire service come, they conduct the canopy walkway. The police also at the gate inspecting, and the immigration people also checking around. So I think and the ambulance is always packed at the entrance. So I think all these people, they come on board. And when they are in, I would say that it just tells us that we are actually prioritizing the lives of the rebels and not just the money.
The major challenge facing the smooth running of the facility today is the issue of bush fires around the green zone of the waterfalls. Michael tells me more needs to be done to help address this worrying menace.
Since people farm along or close to the site, in the way of control burning, the fire gets into our yard. And most of the times, they're able to burn the green around. They don't touch the major facilities, but the green, which is very important. So that is a major problem that we face.
As we mark the Heritage Month, Joseph Apiaje tells me that the region and the country at large has to celebrate the Kintampo waterfall as a treasure and admonish others to visit the area.
We have to celebrate it because this is the treasure that we have as the people of Kintampo, people of Bono East and Ghana at large. So even as we celebrate the Heritage Month, this is our heritage, which ought to be properly preserved for the future generation to also come to benefit from it.
Well, the 2017 disaster might have caused a lot of havoc due to the lives lost, but it has turned out to be a blessing in disguise with an increase in visitations year in, year out.
From the Kintampo waterfalls, for JoyNews, my name is Anasade, reporting.
Showbiz is next, and Becky Bex is in studio. You're looking good.
Thank you so much. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Let's talk some showbiz, obviously. Sure. Showbiz. Let's talk about Ochiame Kwame. He recently featured Kofi Kinata on his new song called Sika, and he's been telling us all about the reason why he decided to feature Kofi Kinata. It's an interesting point that he made there.
I featured Kinata because two reasons. One, out of competition. You know that until Kinata broke my record, I was the only Ghanaian musician to win Songwriter of the Year twice. And then Kinata won it twice and he did a third one at 3 years in a row. So I sort of became jealous and I decided to investigate his music. Then I realized how intelligent and how creative he was. So I actually wanted to spend time with him in the studio and learn how he creates his music and why he's so prolific. So that's one. And the second one is because I'm such a big fan. I am a big diehard fan. Team Move. Thank you very much, Kinata. I really appreciate, the times we spent together, and now we have become like brothers, and we eat together and do a lot of things together. When I meet Kinata, we talk about all things from religion, coming down to food, to marriage, children, everything. Charlie, watch this
Ghana.
video.
We're celebrating Ghana and everything Ghanaian. And so this evening, ampesi is what we're talking about. So ampesi is a traditional meal in the Ghanaian cuisine and is prepared with boiled yam, boiled plantain, boiled cocoyam or boiled cassava, or a mix of these, and is served with spicy gravy or vegetable stew or contomere or thick palm nut soup. Here is how to prepare your delicious ampesi ni contomere abom. There you have it. For those of you salivating, you want to eat right now.
Kobe.
It's a white Kobe. Very nice.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know your favorite food. Tomorrow we should talk about your favorite food. So I'll bring that as part of celebrating Ghana Month. But today is Thursday and we're throwing back. It's a beautiful Thursday, Throwback Thursday. Yesterday was Ghana's Independence Day. We want to find out. And I think that it's been like 8 years or 6 years since our celebrities decided to prove how Ghanaian they are and how they love Ghana. And so I asked them to recite the pledge. We'll come back so that you recite the pledge. But this is a throwback of how some celebrities here in Ghana recited the pledge.
It's my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland.
I pledge my service
of Ghana with all my strength and with all my heart. I promise to hold the high esteem our heritage one
for us through the blood and
soul of our fathers, and I pledge myself in all things.
Last so help one, me God.
They remixed the last bit, so it's either help me God or help me. I promise
on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. And I pledge my...
I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my heart and with all my strength. I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage one for us through the blood and soul of our fathers. And I pledge myself in all things to hold Ghana high. Amen.
I promise on my to be promise on my honor to be
I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself. That's all I can say for now.
I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my heart and all my strength. I pledge
I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana in all my strength and with all my might. I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage won for us through the blood and toil of our fathers. And I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana. So help me God.
I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland.
All right, your peace message to Ghanaians.
I can actually sing all of it, I promise. On my honor, because I can really sing, but I don't want to do the singing. To Ghana, my motherland.
The national anthem.
Pledge.
Oh, the anthem.
Yeah, no, the anthem is, overused. Let's do the pledge.
It's not overused.
Why? It's the pledge everybody's doing.
Hey, don't come and do that thing. Try. I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana and my motherland. I pledge myself to be faithful and loyal, right? Yeah, that's all. That's why I can remember it too, and it's right. Thank you. God bless our homeland, Ghana. You don't know. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Stone boy.
Thank you so much.
God bless our homeland, Ghana. God bless Ghana. We love Ghana.
They did well. They did well.
It's a beautiful throwback. I love You know, the times when the industry was like
so
this,
vibrant.
you know,
yeah, a lot of people.
we're all over the place, we're enjoying ourselves. I have a dream that it will come back to normal. But let's talk about celebrity lifestyle. So Rita Dominic was on Personality Profile with Lexis Spill on Joy FM, and she's been telling us all about the lifestyle that celebrities live, and she's advising that we should live within our means.
It doesn't help as well when actors and actresses also look like they've got life figured out. You know what I'm saying? Because during the prime, everybody's looking, or you know, driving the best cars, living mansions,
but that's the thing.
and
But that's the thing, because as the money's coming, you're spending it to look a certain way, to you know, to maintain that whole persona of an actor and a star. You know, it's expensive as well, having to support the brand or support the celebrity status. It's expensive, so which is why you have to know how to spend your money.
Do you feel pressured to keep up with the status?
I'm not one of those. I definitely don't feel pressured. Some do, don't get me wrong, some do, which is why maybe they feel the need to do other things to, you know, I don't know. I don't feel that pressure.
To keep up the appearance.
To keep up the appearance. I don't know. I really don't. You see, life is easy. Human beings complicate things. You know, in the sense that just, you know, know your limits and just cut down on your expenses. It's important for us to do that. You know, it's the moment you start to think that, oh, I need to present this whole persona or whatever to the world, they have to see me be this kind of person, that is when you start to struggle. And then why would you put yourself through that? For what? Because you want to please the public and displease yourself? Because when your pockets run dry, they won't be there for you.
Thank you very much, Rita Dominic, for that. I like to
good
say
advice there.
Big shout outs to my dad, Benjamin Kweku Cheneboa. He's watching together with my mom. We love you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, that's all we have in this hour. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Keloni. Prime Business is up next. Emma.